block party's missing us, Geno. We'd be live in.
Oh yeah, it's a lively group. I can tell. I can tell.
Hey, what'd you think of Tony Bennett? Italian.
Yeah, I'm not. The timing may be surprising, but the actual stepping away is not surprising. But the timing is always a surprise. When it happens this close to the season, but yeah, with the way the world works right now, it's not surprising.
I mean, the reason, I don't know if you read all his comments, but the reasons he cited about the changes in the sport and having to adapt to so much. And I mean, you've adapted for 40 seasons now to so much, but maybe sometimes we forget what a challenge that can be. It's a different job than the one you took in 1985.
Yeah. I think I don't want to speak for anybody else, but from my standpoint, the challenges that exist now are way different, way more challenging than anything that I've experienced in the 40 years that I've been here. There's never been a time when this many things are changing and this many things are impacting your ability to do your job, because so much of it is out of your control. I think not all coaches are control freaks, but coaches like to know that they can control what they can control, and if each year what you can control is less and less impactful to the success of your team, it makes it difficult. I don't care whether you've been in it 40 years or 4 years. The changes that we're going through right now are unheard of.
Despite all these changes, UConn endures as a program where both programs are in the conversation this time of the year, just about every year, right? How does that happen?
Well, I think the NIL and the portal stuff is relatively new, like the last 2 or 3 years, and so we I think in this building have built a culture that can withstand the initial blunt force, of what happened. 10 years from now, who knows? But I would like to think that maybe they'll get a grip on it sooner rather than later. But I think when you have a strong foundation like exists in this building, on both sides of the building, I think when you do that, you can withstand pretty much a lot of things that other programs maybe cannot. You probably don't have to get caught up in some of the stuff that you have to deal, that other coaches have to deal with, because maybe they don't have the ability to provide you with all the things that we can provide you if you come to school here. So we're in a different situation than most programs, most schools, and staying there is what's going to be the biggest challenge.
Dan, what do you admire most about what's happening on this side of the building, the way he does things?
I saw Alex upstairs earlier, and I said, does this count as a day off? He said, no, those are rare and those are luxuries. That, they work exceptionally hard at what they do. They're relentless in their approach to teaching the game and making sure that every single person that is in this particular part of the building completely understands and buys into exactly what it is that they want. They're very dynamic when it comes to that, very forceful when it comes with that. And I think you can be that way with a certain type of player, a certain type of kid, and that's what they're able to do because they've got the right kids.
Do you guys feed off each other, the two programs, a little bit? Each other's success.
I believe so. I think the university as a whole, when you're on a campus, this is not the biggest campus, but you're in close proximity here with each other, and I know it's always been like that here, from back in Gamble when both teams were over there and practicing over there, and the training room over there, and everything, and the closeness of the two teams. And it's varied over the years. Some years they were really tight, some years not much, and but the constant familiarity that you have breeds a little bit of competition, and I think the more one of us wins, the more we all win. I think it affects everybody.
I know the first night is more for the players and the fans and the students, but what are you just most excited about to see tonight?
Well, yeah, other than the players having a great time, to me, there's really nothing exciting about tonight. It's for me, the most stressful thing is having Anna come and tell me which song I'm supposed to walk out to, like I'm Mariano Rivera or something, so I never understand that actual part of it, but there's nothing to be excited about. For people who don't coach and people that are not in this world, the first 2 weeks of practice in October, there's absolutely nothing to be excited about. The excitement will start when we get a little bit better, when we start playing games, when we start to find out exactly what it is that we've got. Because last October I thought, man, we are in great shape. This is going to be a phenomenal. And second game of the year, we get our ass beat down in NC State, and we look like we've never practiced. So I'm excited to see what can happen, but right now it hasn't yet. I was mentioning earlier that in terms of experience, we've not replaced Nika and Dalia, and the people we have replaced them with are freshmen. So we took a big step back in experience-wise. If I were to put out our top post player coming, our most experienced post player would be Ice with 1 year, and other than Paige, with AZ not being on the court a lot, she's out there enough. There is no Caroline, there's no Aubrey, there's just a bunch of freshmen and sophomores who, when it looks good, it's really, really, really good, like really good. And then all of a sudden it'll just, completely go the other way. But that's to be expected right now. But when it's good, it's really good.
So sorry. How are the girls feeling, and how are you feeling, heading into the 24-25 season?
I just asked somebody, that they said there's like a tremendous amount of buzz about, obviously the men are coming off 2 national championships, so that's that hasn't happened on any campus since Florida. The only time before that was a long time ago, right? UCLA, right? Back to back, right? So they're doing something that hasn't been done in forever, and people are all caught up in that, as they should be. And we haven't had a full team in 3 years, so I think there's a lot of excitement about what would we look like if we had everybody available, and it's Paige's last year, and all that great stuff. And so there's a lot of expectation of it being great.
Paige said at first practice that everybody saw her world tour, but nobody saw her work tour. Can you tell that she put in a lot of work over the off season?
She always does. There may be a lot of things that Paige is afforded, and things that she can do because of who she is and how much demand she's in on a regular basis. But there's one thing she'll never do. She'll never cheat the game or the preparation that goes into, allowing her to play at the highest level. And she'll be very offended if you suggest that all she did this off season was, I like to, I vary between calling her, Paige Swift or Paige Kardashian, because she's everywhere. She's everywhere all the time, and she'll be the first to tell you. Like, people don't see the work I put in. People don't see how much time I spend in there. So naturally, when I was at the Liberty game, and she saw it, and, of called me Coach Kardashian. That puts me
Speaking of the Liberty game, they're playing tonight.
Yeah.
One win away from winning a championship.
Yeah.
Stewie said she had to message you to come out there. If they win tonight, will we see you at the parade, perhaps?
Well, we're kind of busy this time of the year, but yeah, well, we're in a tough spot. I want the games to be great. I want Stewie to play great. I want Feast to play great. And so far, they've been great games, and they both play great, which is, I told the two of them, I'm a winner either way, whichever way this thing falls. So I'm just really proud to be watching the two of them go at it. But New York should have won the first one and lost, and Minnesota should have won, Wednesday night and lost. So it's been a weird series, and I'm anxious to see what happens tonight. But I would like to meet the person that didn't vote Stewie as one of the top 5 players in the WNBA. I know that happens in the Baseball Hall of Fame all the time, but you don't substitute somebody, right? You just don't pick that guy. Like, I'm not picking you on the first ballot for the Hall of Fame. But in this one, this somebody actually didn't pick Stewie and put somebody in her place. I would love to know who that person is. That would be entertainment.
It's not public.
They don't reveal that?
I don't
They
know.
don't. No, not for the W.
No. That would be something I'd like to be a part of someday. That there are people that stupid actually covering our game.
I got them demolished on the Cy Young vote one day.
I just, you know what it did? It further amplified the message that I give to my players all the time. Don't ever put any stock on anything that people who watch the game or cover the game when they vote. Don't put any stock in that whatsoever, because it makes no sense. So I hope she gets 50 tonight. It doesn't matter if they win or lose. I just hope she gets 50 tonight. I mean, there's only 2 people that have ever gotten 30 and 10 in a playoff game. Well, actually, one person who's done it twice. Just in case they forgot. She's pretty good.
You said that not a whole lot of good is you've seen the first 2 weeks, but is there somebody who's surprised you or somebody who's looked pretty good?
They take turns. They take turns. Paige is better. She is better. She is more aggressive. She is more assertive. She's looking to do way more, to be more involved and to be more of a I think she knows that we don't have Mika that provided a lot of that stuff, and she wants to fill that role, as much as she can. So that's been good to see. Caitlin Chen, it's not an easy thing to walk in here not ever having played for us, but you've played 4 years of basketball, and now you're not quite sure, like, how do I handle that? Do I act like a veteran or am I a rookie? So she's had to, and lately she's found her voice, and that's really, really helped us, and it's helped Paige, and I think people are going to be surprised by how much she gets done on the court, So that's probably not a surprise because she's played so much basketball. Everybody else is kind of had their moments, I think maybe Allie's surprised some people that she could do more than just shoot it. When she came in as a reputation as just a phenomenal shooter. But everybody has their moments, There'll be 2 days when, you'll just go, wow. Like Q. Q's had like a fantastic week. So 2 weeks before that, it wasn't. So it just, this time of the year, it goes like that. But right now, if we had a game tomorrow, there'd be 8 or 9 guys that are going to play a lot, and we haven't had that in a long time.
Are the injured players progressing like you thought they would be right now?
Daisy looks to be pretty far along. She's rusty, but she seems to be pretty far along. Yana just whacked her shoulder against somebody. Like, this is the dumbest stuff, so that set her back a little bit. Morgan's been practicing now and looks great. Aubrey said that she will be back. This is what she told me. She said, I'll be back by before January 1st, which was a surprise to me. So yeah, I think everybody's moving along in the right direction.
What are your thoughts on the Madison Reed Court, the NIL deal for your players, and the report, at least the rumor, that there's a deal in place for you to dye your hair under certain circumstances?
Well, you know, every week or so I add a little more gray to it, you know, just to, you know, make sure it doesn't turn brown again. You know, it's maybe one of the best things that's ever happened to the women's basketball program, and by extension the athletic department here at UConn, that Amy has decided to get involved at that level. And Madison Reed is a huge brand, and it attracts a wide variety of constituents to their products, and they have connections to a tremendous amount of other corporations that they do business with. And I think this relationship with Amy and with Madison Reed, this is just the beginning of what this is going to end up being. So in the whole world of NIL and all that other stuff, people can write you a check, you know, and say, hey, I'll give you this much money to come play for me. What this represents is something a lot bigger than that. You know, Paige is going to get franchises. That's a lot more than somebody writing you a check to play basketball for 2 or 3 years, you know. This is life-changing for our players and for anybody else that, you know, they bring on board. It's fantastic. It really is.
Amy seemed to think purple was a possibility.
That's Paige's purple. That's her favorite color, purple. You know, I have not had any discussions with Amy. I had dinner with her last night about any of that stuff. But there'll be times when my hair will just turn red by itself. I won't need any color. My face and my hair will be red.
Well, as long as we're on branding, what's the ice cream flavor going to be? Over there?
I don't know. That's a good question. Anna, what's the ice cream flavor over there?
For what?
Which one you talked about?
40th?
The one that's going to be named after you.
It's well, he has a sundae. CD has a milkshake, and they together have Legendberry Legacy.
Ooh,
Legendberry.
I thought it'd be like Cabernet flavor.
No. Legendberry. It's just seriously, man.
Coach, many people admire your relationship with the players and how sometimes you goof around a lot. How do you feel specifically about KK and Paige calling you Girl Boo?
Well, that's mild compared to what I call them. So I'm glad that it goes back and forth. But I don't understand a lot of stuff that they say. So I probably, I'm ignorance is bliss, you know. So I'm glad I don't know anything about what they say, because then whatever they say, I smile. So if it's great, great. If it's bad, then I'm better off not knowing. Whatever that means, whatever you just said.
It's good.
It is good? It's a good thing? Okay, that's good then.
Do you know, with Yana and Morgan, are they still on track to play for the opener? Are you expecting to have them at the beginning?
I don't know. I don't know about Yana because she's still in that sling, so they're restricting her range of motion. But if Morgan looks the way she's looked the last couple of days in practice, yeah, I would expect it by, how many more days to November 7th? A couple weeks maybe?
Yeah, like 10.
10
Something
days?
like that.
Is that what it is?
20.
20, so 2 weeks, 14.
How many days?
20.
20 days.
We don't know.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. She'll definitely be playing.
And just how do you feel about Jana's progression as well?
Better today. She's had a couple really, really good days. You know, Jenna's like a bull in the china shop. You know, she's hard to guard. Like all our practice players have a really hard time guarding her in the lane because she's so physical and she takes up a lot of space. But she's her own worst enemy because she's in a hurry. Like she wants to make up for a year and a half of not playing on every possession. So we're trying to kind of get that pace a little bit better. But she has a real edge to her that I love, and I enjoy coaching her. And she's given us something we haven't had in a long time. That kind of physical presence in the lane, we haven't had that in a long time.
Coach, what's the team's motto going into this season, or just words to live by?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Paige and those guys. You know, for me, the thing that I've talked to to Paige about mostly is that that when you're young, you know, you think you have forever, and I think her especially are starting to realize that there's a sense of urgency, that it's almost over, and that there's a different vibe because it's urgent right now. We don't have forever. This is it. This is a big this is a big year for her and for us, you know.
Coach,
last year was a big surprise, I guess, because we went to the Final Four with that, you know, all that was going on, and so the expectation for this year is just off the charts. Which, you know, I'm glad that it's back that way, you know. So I don't know that there's a word or phrase for that.
Coach, do you feel a sense of urgency after coaching, you know, almost 40 years or so here? Do you feel a sense of urgency to get back up to the top of the mountain again?
I think there always is that. There's always been that. Maybe not in 2017 or 18, because you feel like who's supposed to be entitled to 6 or 7 in a row? Nobody. Nobody's entitled to 4 in a row. You know, so you could explain those couple of years. But then as the years have added up and gotten to 7 or 8, now it's a sense of urgency, and not for me, because again, I've said this before, I have more than anybody should ever, you know, that anybody deserves to have. But, you know, it'd be great for some of these guys to experience that once in their life, you know. So that's kind of urgent. That part of it is.